It's Honeysuckle and Rachel Blackmore racing's golden duo.
Tiger Roll joins the greats and beats Magic of Light.
Best behaviour on the near side with the wettest of saves for Barry Brown and Oliver McKiernan. Local trainer Derek McLaughlin again in the honest now. Lord Lyon wins it from...
It's Samco on the stand side before he had the second round. Fahey lands in the lead by half a length and goes on from Samco.
Hello and welcome. Day 5 of our Cheltenham previews. This day, 3 weeks, we'll be watching the Gold Cup. And we're going to preview it here today. We've still got Thomas Jakeman with us, thankfully. So we're not bored of listening to myself and Cillian. At least he can take some of the burden off us. As always, subscribe, let us know what you think in the comments. This is quite a wide open race as far as I'm concerned, so I'm sure there's going to be some disagreements in that among us. So Cillian, Galopin Des Champs there, 6-4. He's very short.
Yeah, he's too short for me now. I like, you'd be nearly better off just laying him there and having the field and taking him on with the field if you didn't fancy something that much. Yeah, he's a very good horse. He's the right favourite, but I'd have him closer to 3-1 than even money now, to be honest. I think there's a few question marks over a couple of them in it, like a Plutard, but I think you're getting a fairly strong field there of like 160 plus horses to take him on with them, and a lot of 170 plus horses as well. So I'd be taking them on anyway.
What about yourself, Thomas?
To be honest, I find it very hard to oppose him. I think I'm a big believer of miles on the clock. There's quite a lot of horses in the Gold Cup this year that are coming for their second, third attempt at it. I think my only slight concern with him is he's obviously unknown at that trip. It's 3 mile 2 up the Cheltenham Hill that he might get found out there, but I think, like, if you listen to what Ruby Walsh has previously said about him, he just thinks he's the real deal. Like, I think from a betting point of view, I don't think 6-4 is great value, obviously, but I think he's an absolute machine. Really, to be honest, I think he's going to win the Gold Cup this year. I can't see Minella Indo, A Plutard. I can't see Sattler reversing the form. That's kind of my view on it, but it's not a backable price. That's the only trouble.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. Just I suppose it's the one thing that a lot of people have against him is the extra 2 furlongs, and the stiff finish, and that's where I'm strongly against him as well. To be honest, if you look at the stats, I wouldn't say I'm a big numbers man, but I went back and I looked at the Irish Gold Cup, the previous winners of the Irish Gold Cup. And you need a much different horse over 3 miles at Leopardstown than you do over 3 miles 2 furlongs at Cheltenham. In the last 25 years, only one horse who has won the Irish Gold Cup has won the Cheltenham Gold Cup, and that's not even confining it to that year, if you get me. So like that would, like, even if Galopin Des Champs went and won it next year, then he'd be the second, we'll say. The one who did do it was Size and John. And he won it in that same year. But I just think you need a flashier horse, like around Leopardstown, even like over that 3 miles. Like, if you think back, like we say Q Card, he was I'd sort of think that he's similar enough to Galopin Des Champs in terms of there's a bit of style, a bit of panache about him. But that extra 2 furlongs found him out. He was well able to win other 3 mile grade ones elsewhere, but once it came to the Gold Cup, just that extra bit of stamina that you need, and that's what I'd be worried about when it comes to Galopin Des Champs. Another one, Vautour. Like, people thought that Vautour was going to win a Gold Cup. Now, he didn't get a chance to prove people right or wrong, but he's another one that I'd have in that category in terms of a bit too nearly flashy. You need something a bit more solid. Now, I know I'm saying that a Plutard went and won the race last year, and he's similar style, but it was a very slow race. And now, could it be a slow race again this year, do you reckon, Cillian or Tom? Do you have a view on that?
No, it won't be like last year. I think that there's a few of them there that are going to try and make it a good test. Like a High Senior is definitely going to lead. And like then you have Hewick is going to be handy. Minella Indo is going to be handy. Like there will be pace on. Statler is going to be up there too. I think there's no fear of it being a slowly run race like last year. Like that'd be my fear if they did go slow, that Galopin Des Champs could do what Plutarch did last year and win by 15 lengths. But I think there's enough pace in the race there that won't happen. Yeah, like I don't know. I can just see like he's won around Leopardstown similar to Plutarch 2 years ago. He won the Savills and going to the Gold Cup. Then I just think that maybe in a strongly run race at 7 years of age would a stronger stayer or something like a Noble Yeats, just outgun him after the last up the hill. That'd be the only thing really. Like I think looking at the race, I think Minella Indo is going to hit the frame. Like he will be in the first three, I'd say. I think he's a right chance. He's going to be jumping the last in front, and whoever passes him will win it. Like he even there last year, he completely emptied going up the hill after having a scandalous tough race in a King George where he pulled up after the cheek pieces didn't have a desired effect. I think he lost.
How many Gold Cups has he had now?
This will be his third run in it.
Third run to go.
It's hard to come back in it, but look, he's a brilliant horse. He's a very tough horse.
No chance.
Amazing.
No chance, Cillian.
Yeah, but I just like 3 Gold Cups. Like, that's
like he's only had the one run this season. He's beaten Statler now. He's getting weight that day, but he generally takes a run or two to get fit. I just think that
a run or two. Cillian, he takes a lot more than he's only had the one run. That should be marked as a negative, really. Like in any other year, Cillian, you'll be talking about Minella Indo needs to run. You give him 2 or 3 runs, and then you'll be saying, right, he's fit for Cheltenham. Now he's going to only have 1 run. We know how tough it is to get him right. You've given him 3 stars. I can't get over it. You know, you said yesterday Shishkin at 10 years of age couldn't. We were talking, if you didn't listen to the Ryanair preview, just go back one. We were talking about it yesterday. But Cillian was firmly against the idea of Shishkin possibly winning the Ryanair and then going on to win the Gold Cup next year because he was 10. And now he's making Minella Indo a 10-year-old for the race. I don't get it myself.
The proven stayer.
Well, at least he's got that over Galopin Des Champs, all right.
He's a proven stayer. You know, he's going
to get the trip. The staying part as well. I think William Mullins, like, he knows himself. Like he said after the race in Leopardstown when he won, he said that he never had any issue with him staying 3 miles. Like, there's a reason why I think they've gone this route, you know.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just because he hasn't ran over the trip yet, you know, and he is lightly raced. There are some vulnerabilities there, but like every time I would go for the more lightly, less exposed type as opposed to the experienced miles on the clock kind of type, you know. But I'm not going to back on the price. What about Hewick as well? Actually, he has to be given a mention as well, Shark Hanlon.
I'd love him. It'd be hilarious. It'd be brilliant if he won it. It wouldn't be hilarious. It'd be fantastic. You know, he was getting beat off terrible low marks over hurdles, and then he's gone over fences and he's just turned inside out like the performances in the Galway Plate and the Kerry National were scandalous. I know he unseated the last, and maybe he mightn't have won, but I think he'd have won that day. And goes out to America and wins a grade 1 out there. It's just a pity he hasn't ran since. Would have been nice to see him running like even a Cotswolds chase or something, like maybe not go to one of the grade 1s in Ireland, but just something like I think he does thrive on racing, so that'd be the only negative against him. But like it'd be some story if he managed to win that.
It'd be super. Yeah, it really would. It'd be amazing. The one that I have 4 stars there against, and to be honest, I think I should have given him 5, is Statler. I really like him. Now I know he was well beaten by Galopin Des Champs, but this comes back to horses for courses, and in terms of trip as well. 3 miles at Leopardstown is not Statler's forte. I think 3 miles 2 furlongs at Cheltenham. He's a proper stayer. And he'll definitely be a lot closer to the Galopin Des Champs. And at 8-1, Like, that's an each way price. He'll be in the frame. Forget about your Minella Indo. Statler will be in the frame. I'd be very surprised if he wasn't. And I'd definitely be quite sweet on him.
Yeah, I'd happily have a match bet with you now that Minella Indo will finish in front of Statler. And whatever you want to put on it, I'll put on with you, like. Because there's no way Statler will finish in front of him. Statler finish in front of him, he's probably won the Gold Cup. And I can't see it, like. I probably should have given Statler 1 star, really. Like, he's just not going to reverse form with Galopin Des Champs. I think a Blue Tard will beat him, Noble Yeats will beat him, Brave Man's Game could even beat him. Conflated will probably be in front of him. That
Brave Man's Game, that's another one there. It's such a deep race. Like, you can't be having Galopin Des Champs, and he's actually one that'll probably drift. You know, like we spoke yesterday about Shishkin and maybe getting the money down. Galopin Des Champs, I don't think is going off any shorter than 6-4. Would you be in agreement there, or what way would you be thinking?
No,
hopefully he drifts, because then I'll be backing him.
I don't know. You look at the Friday the last few years. Willie mops up, like, if Willie wins the Triumph, the County Hurdle, and somehow lands the Bartlett, Galopin Des Champs could go off even money, like.
Well, he could go off, but the morning of the race he'll be getting better than 64. I can guarantee you.
Yeah, you will. Yeah.
There's just one other thing here as well. I was just actually reading the quote from Willie after Galopin Des Champs won in Leopardstown. He said that he won over 3 miles as a novice over hurdles, which is way harder than doing it over fences. And he said, to me, he can go 4 miles. So he doesn't have...
Okay.
He said about Galopin Des Champs. He doesn't have any concerns whatsoever about the trip. So,
okay, that's interesting.
He's never told the lie either. You know, he's a known truth teller.
That puts all the theories to bed now, I think.
I don't know. Well, you can have your 6-4 on him.
8-1 each way at Statler. If something was to go wrong, is obviously more kind of it's a safer option, definitely. I think Statler and Noble Yeats are going to be staying on at the end, aren't they? Also,
yeah, and Brave Man's Game. Cillian, do you have a view on him?
Yeah, he's completely and utterly overhyped. Like,
I think so too.
He's a very good horse on flat tracks. You saw it in the Ballymore where he was made a show of.
Yeah.
He was destroyed by Bob Ollinger and Gaillard de Menil. And then he basically finished upsized bare gills for a finish. Like, didn't run the RSA last year because the ground bombed in Aintree, and I know he's riddled with ulcers or whatever. Like, he's won a extraordinarily weak King George. It'd be nice to see how, if La Press stood up, how far would they have been away from him? Like, maybe he was probably going away from him. Maybe, I don't know, but he's won by 14 lengths to Royal Pagaille. Royal Pagaille wouldn't be within this. Like, Royal Pagaille was beaten 20 minutes in the Gold Cup last year nearly. You know, there's fraud on these horses. Like, his bet shit really better La Press.
Yeah, I'd be in full agreement. I wonder what sort of price you get on the first 5 home being Irish. Because look at a Galopin Des Champs, Blue Tard, Noble Yeats, Statler, Minella Indo, Hewick. Like,
conflated.
There's a lot of conflated. I skipped him. Exactly, he's another one. He'd definitely be in the first 5 anyway. Like, all they have then is Brave Man's Game, really, a high senior protectorate. Like, I'd say the first 5 home could be Irish. I'd like to see a price on that. All right, so look, for me anyway, Statler 8-1. That's a very fair each way price. Couldn't have Galopin Des Champs at 6-4. Not a fear of it. And an honourable mention to Noble Yeats at 7-1, like, assured stamina. He surprised me at Aintree earlier on in the year when the Grade 1, the turn of foot he showed. I didn't think he had it. So between the stamina, the turn of foot, you know, I'd be quite keen on him too. But I'll go Statler 8-1. What about yourself, Tom?
Yeah, I think if Galopin Des Champs can go out to maybe around 2-1 on the day, I think I'll be, depending on how the week is going, I'll definitely be probably going all in, I'd say, at that stage. Notable each way kind of mention, I think Statler and Noble Yeats are obviously solid each way alternatives, you know. And I'd like to see Hewick run well as well. He's a bit of a freak, like, so if he got in his first 4, it'll be good to see that, you know.
Yeah, Cillian?
Say a chunky each way bet on Noble Yeats. In the hopes he might upset the favourite, and then back Minella Indo to come in the first 3 then as well.
First 5, I'd say.
First 3 is enough. 3 is fine. Do back from 3, 4, 5. You're collecting all them.
He won't be. Like,
Collect.
not. You're wrong. Okay, look. Thanks very much, Cillian. Thank you, Tom, again. Lads, there's a lot there. Let us know in the comments what you think. Make sure to go back, look at the champion hurdle, the stairs hurdle, the champion chase, the Ryanair, and then tomorrow, Cillian, what are we doing tomorrow?
The cross country.
The cross country chase tomorrow. Okay, lads, thanks very much. We'll see.
Good luck.
Vauban finds more now and kicks away and up the hill. Vauban wins the JCB Triumph Hurdle.
Round the home turn, Davy Russell decides to send Presenting Percy on now. It's a beautiful straight, 11 victories for Honeysuckle. She is the winner of the Unibet Champion Hurdle.
Heaven help us, runs riot to win the Coral Cup.
Minella Indo is all out, flat out, but he wins the Gold Cup.